All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless, no story is worthless. Today, ladies and gentlemen, man, talking about one of my favorite things, hip hop. But not only hip hop, man, we're going to keep it on the artistic side. All right. Joining me all the way from the East Coast, is it New Jersey?
New Jersey, yep.
Jersey in the house, Jers, for those who know, they already know. Man, East Coast in the house. Please put your hands together for Eric Elfstrom.
There we go. What's up? Thank you for having me.
Man, no problem. Look, man, thank you for joining me. As I open with that, man, let me just let the people know a little bit about you, okay?
Yeah.
Photographer, all right? Videographer. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, hip hop artist. Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about all that, man, but we're going to lead off with the mixtape tour 2022. Okay. And that was with New Kids on the Block, Ill Town Sluggers, Naughty by Nature, Salt and Pepper, and Vogue. I want to say
Rick Astley,
man. There was man. 90s, yeah. I mean, man, like if you're into the 90s like I am, yeah, like this is for us, But not only that, like you were like behind the scenes, shooting footage, getting things of that nature. Can you just tell us about your time on the tour?
Yeah, so I was on the Slugger bus with Ill Town Sluggers, and started in Cincinnati, ended in Washington D.C. And this was my first tour, so I was excited. I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea the actual grind that went into it. But it was crazy. I ended up being able to shoot En Vogue, Salt and Pepper, and Rick Astley. New Kids had their own photographer, and she was great. So I got a few shots of them, but it was mostly everyone else. But yeah, tour's a crazy thing. There's nothing glamorous about tour. It's like a quick cash grab, in and out, going.
So I find that interesting. What was like the first thing like that happened to you like on this tour that made you realize, you know what? This isn't what I thought about, life would be like on the TV shows and the movies and stuff like that. Like,
what was showering was always like you would shower. We would shower every day, but it was like sometimes we wouldn't have a dressing room. Sometimes our dressing room wouldn't have a shower, so we would have to go into like the crew room, and like sometimes there's no privacy. You have to do the whole flip-flop slides thing, and you're in and out. Like I love to enjoy my showers, and you're in there, the water's hardly hot, and you're like, God damn, like this is different. And then it's just you hop out, and then it's straight back to work. That's it.
Hey man, that's hey baby, tour life.
That made me kind of sit back, and I was like, oh man, this is way different than a YouTube video.
Well, no, I mean, but you know what? That's real. That's a real experience. And, I think that's something that people don't really take into consideration. I'm like, look, man, as you said, I like to enjoy my showers. I don't care if it's like 2-3 minutes. I don't care if it's 7-15 minutes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you want to be in there 15 minutes, enjoying it. Come on, I mean, man. Anyway, but that's real life. And, just to, go through that grind with these acts, man, I think that brings like a level of closeness that, people may not expect sometimes, so.
Yeah, everyone, you roll as like a small village. Everyone's on their buses and stuff, but you wake up, say good morning to the same people. You eat breakfast, lunch, dinner with the same people. Your off days are usually in the same spots. You're going out, having drinks with the same people. So it's kind of like a big village family, like just moving across the U.S. So it's definitely cool, but you got to adapt quickly or else you're into some trouble. You'll figure it out though, quick.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question. Like, what's a life lesson that you learned this being your first tour?
Man, you can't get sidetracked at all, because like when I was out there, we would shoot our meet and greet, the Slugga Lounge, and then we had maybe like a half hour, 15 minutes until, because we opened up the show, so we had to go on stage right after. So you can't get sidetracked, because right after that you got to start editing. You got to go to sleep at 3-4 in the morning, wake up, edit, shoot again. So there's really no room to play around and like go and like adventure somewhere, because you can get sidetracked real quick and then you're behind, and it's like a whole thing. You gotta have your blinders on. You're just going, and then if you do have some free time, that's amazing, make the most of it. But other than that, just look straight and just go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, so look, and that's what I'm saying, this is a perspective. This is a behind the scenes perspective that I don't think many people really realize, because some people may say, well, he's just getting footage and he's just doing that. But yeah, like, to be a content creator, like, hey, look, that takes time. I have to like sit here, I have to edit, I have to look through, I have to cut, I have to do this. Okay, man, I have to like really get it down to like the millisecond.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Looking through the footage takes a long time. That was a lot of the battle.
Man, so right. And I think that's one thing people really don't realize, or if they do get to that point, man, look, it's not for the faint of heart, like,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it takes time to put in footage, So.
I'm still going through it now. We're working on a documentary for the whole tour, and I got to go through all 56 shows and figure out which clip looked good here, what happened at this show, who I shot. Oh, Vinny did something great in Indianapolis, and then it's like Salt and Pep did something cool in Atlanta. It's everywhere. So
now let me ask. Now, okay, because see, this is a good point. And, for all my creatives out there who may be watching or who are going to be watching, this is something that I think we need to talk about a little bit more. Man, like, you're going to do a doc, on 56 cities, So as you just said, it may be something in particular in Indy. Okay, well, man, this happened in Chicago. Well, this happened in Cincinnati. This happened, in Jersey. This happened here. This happened there, like, the process of that, for those looking to get into the industry, because there may be some people out there really looking to get into the industry. Like, what advice can you really give them about getting into this, like, life?
You gotta stay creative. You gotta find ways to kind of like reinvent yourself. You may be really good at this one thing, but no matter what, if you keep doing that one thing, it's gonna get old. And if you wanna keep going, you wanna book another tour, even if you just wanna get into the industry. Like, I would go to Vinny and KG and be like, hey, I have this idea for this skit. Let's have Slugga do this, and then the outcome will be this and this. And they're like, yeah, let's do that. We would do more of that. And then we had the Slugga cam where I was following KG, because he would come off the stage and run around, give the mic to people, and like, just, you need more than one avenue to keep the people intrigued, or else they're gonna find something else real quick, and then your content's not gonna be hot anymore. So,
hey, look, first and foremost, that's great advice. You have to learn how to diversify yourself, in this day and age,
Yeah, and also if you're hired and they trust you and everything, they're gonna trust your judgment and your vision on, or at least they should, of what you want to do. So, it's basically just within yourself. You got an idea, spit out the idea, and you gotta paint that picture. And if it's dope, it's dope. But just keep the ball rolling.
So look, man, great segue. He talks about vision, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to talk to you, seriously, creator to creator, and no offense to all my non-creators or amateurs out there, or those who think they're really doing it, but Well, as you know, Dave Chappelle would say, ask a professional. So we're going to ask a professional. All right. So look, I want to talk about the artistry behind dope shots. Because as you said, you know, man, you know, you have to mix it up. And even if you're out here taking like pictures, like, I mean, okay, but like something like eye grabbing, you know, something that like, okay, well, man, you know, let me just like examine this for a second. Man, you see how they're like this and this and the other, and man, they're in front of like millions of people and blah, 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 blah. So, you know, in your opinion, like, or not even your opinion, but, you know, just talk to us about like, man, the artistry behind getting dope shots, especially on, you know, a tour like, man, the mixtape tour.
Yeah. You know, my biggest thing is when you're shooting someone, you have to be as close as you possibly can to the artist, even though it may be annoying for them. But like a lot of the things, you know, there's millions of photos of these legends on stage doing what they do. But I always like to get something that you won't see them doing every day. Like I have photos of like Vinny ironing a shirt and like, you know, little stuff like that, and like just something other than him in a studio, in a music video, on a stage. Get them, you know, coming off the stage, and there's like all these people, especially like when they're coming off stage, all these people are looking at them, and they may be like wiping off sweat. Get close, like see that they're dripping in sweat, or zoom out and you see all these people with their phones up taking that picture, but that to them it's like the decompress time. Right. So you're not seeing them all engaged rapping. It's like, all right, I finished, I'm a mess right now, and there's just people everywhere looking at them, trying to take pictures and stuff. Getting photos of artists not always in their element is a huge thing for me. I've always said I wanted to put out like a book of artists doing other things than being an artist. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because those shots are beautiful, and they're not expected. And you don't see them every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey man, look, and as I said, you know, to have that access, you know, on the tour, such as the tour that you had, you know, man, ironing shirts, dripping from sweat, you know, maybe going through a transition on stage, you know, or right before they get out on stage, or it could just be at a restaurant.
Exactly. I was doing that. I basically had my camera everywhere. I got shots of us eating at like the craziest restaurants in the middle of nowhere, Texas, and coming off stage in like just like Idaho. And I'm like, yo, okay, how'd you feel about the show? And he's just like, I don't know. That was a weird one. You know what I mean? But it's very important. If you can get as close as you can to the artist, you could get some beautiful moments. Because you could go like a festival, and there's the pit of photographers. All those photographers are getting the same shots. So if you're with that artist, you can get the behind the scenes, coming out of the car, in the car, the bus, or whatever. You gotta try to get as close as you can.
Okay. All right. Hey, look, there it is. I mean, sorry, artists, it may be a little annoying, but you know, when you go back through and look at it, be like, hey, you know what? You know what? That was.
And the artist will love it too. They'll be like, this kid was mad annoying, had a camera in my face the entire time, but wow, look what we got. You know what I mean?
Right. So look, let me ask you, what is some of the best advice you have gotten on the tour, whether it be from an artist or whether it be from someone else?
The best advice on the tour, you gotta know why you're there. So like I went there as Naughty by Nature and Illtown Slugger's photographer, but then these other groups had an interest in me. And, you know, Vinny was like, I have no problem with you expanding and, you know, you getting seen and everything. And I'll back you with whatever you do. But you you're here on our bus, on our dime. We can't have you getting sidetracked. So you got to stay focused and, do a little bit here and there, get your feet wet and everything with everyone else, but you have to be locked in with us. So understanding why you're there, and, you gotta respect that and keep going in that avenue. You know what I mean?
Well, first and foremost, shout out to my fellow Virgo brother, Vinny. My birthday's on the 16th. I believe his birthday's on the 14th or the 15th, one of the two. But yeah, I know his birthday's coming up soon. So shout out to you, man, Ben Rock. Anyway, but no, man. So look, first and foremost, wonderful advice, because, as you said, it's easy to get sidetracked. There's all these other, people up here as well. And if you're not on point, or on your square, as they say, man, hell yeah. Salt and Pepper's over here talking to me. Hey, Eric, why don't you get some shots of us, this and the other. Oh, sure, yeah, let me go over here, involve,
exactly.
This, that, what have you, but no, that's the bet, man. Know why you're here. Like, look.
Exactly. And be aware, don't be like a leech and you see a good opportunity, be like, oh, I need to go over there. No, you're here because of this. Like when I was shooting them out, I would only give them like a few photos a night, because, that it would be quick to edit, can email it to them or text it to whoever. And then it was like, all right, now I took a half hour with them. Now I need to put in 6-7 hours with Sluggo.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a big thing for me, and I didn't get sidetracked, but he made it fully aware that, like, listen, this is why you're here, buddy.
Well, no, man, that's real sound advice, and man, that adds to your professionalism and that adds to your integrity as well. So that is like some very great advice. So as I said before, shout out to Deborah, man. All right. So, man, I want to talk about this music. All right. Because as I said before, man, it's cool, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about this content and all, but let's talk about this music, man. I listen to your music. We're going to talk about where we can find all this stuff in a minute. But I listen to your music, man, and I'm going to keep it real. I'm pretty sure people have told you, Eminem or all this other stuff or what have you. And my real hip hop heads, no, man. What I hear? Like I mean, like, okay, yeah, but I hear Kool Keith. And for those who understand or know who Kool Keith is, ultramagnetic MCs, right out of New York, you know what I'm saying? Like real underrated, MC or what have you. And his style, like, just like the flow and, just how it is you're rapping and some of the things you're rapping about, so, man, talk about your music.
Yeah, so I'm actually working on new music for the first time in a while now, because I've been so busy with Elfstrom Media blowing up. It was kind of hard to like juggle both. But yeah, I mean, I've been writing for a while. I have 2 projects out on Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming services. But yeah, I get all the time and I love it, but I also hate it. The Eminem, like, you sound like Eminem or whatever. And that's my idol. So it's mad cool saying I sound like him, but at the end of the day, I'm not here to be him. I want the next wave or kids to be like, I want to be like Eric Elfstrom. I don't want them to be like Eric Elfstrom because he sounds like Eminem, you know what I mean? So it's cool and everything, but breaking apart is a big thing for me. But yeah, we're working on streaming services. I have Studio A, but Studio B is right around the corner.
Okay, all right. So no, well, man, now let's just talk about it for a second, because you do bring up a good point. While it's great to idolize someone, you are your own person and you have your own identity. That's why I was saying, like, yeah, okay, I hear people saying this, but I'm hearing something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're not familiar with who he is, fine. You know what I'm saying? That's great. I mean, but if you're more familiar with like the MF Dooms or what have you, then he's in that vein. But you know, the underground artists or what have you, but they have their own style. And you know, I know you have your own style because as I said, and I listened to, like, as you said, the 2 albums, man. Spotify, ladies and gentlemen, but we're gonna talk about all the other good stuff in a minute. But man, as I was sitting up here listening, I'm just like, okay, like, you have a song called Pain, you know, I believe it is. And you know,
Paranoid.
I'm sorry. Paranoid. I knew it was something with a P. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, but like, just like listening to you, just like, you know, man, like, go through it. First and foremost, do you do your own production, or who does your production?
So the last 2 projects, I found producers. Usually those projects are like YouTube type beats. So I'll type in like a Logic type beat or a Royce da 5'9" type beat, and then those producers will sell it. And that's how I got those beats. But then when we were all on lockdown, the pandemic, Royce da 5'9" released The Allegory, and I'm almost positive he produced the whole thing himself. He taught himself how to produce. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to his production, and I was like, damn, like, he could teach himself how to do this. I was like, I want to learn this, because, you know, this new wave of hip hop and everything, every beat kind of sounds the same, and I don't like that. I'm a late 90s, early 2000s hip hop guy.
Word.
So I wanted to learn how to produce and kind of keep that kind of sound with myself. You know what I mean? And that like grunginess, and like when you listen to a Nas song, you feel like you're like right in Queensbridge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I wanted to keep that older hip hop kind of sound, even if it may not be what's gonna pop nowadays. But I don't want to just like follow the wave and be like, I need this song that sounds like this new artist. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna do what I like, write what I feel, what I go through to a beat that, you know, matches what I grew up on.
So now, okay, cool. So now let me ask, okay, 'cause, man, you know what? I just love how you're hitting these transitions for me. But man, like, who was the artist that did it for you, that really got you into this lifestyle? Like
Eminem, for sure.
Eminem. Okay, so basically it was like once you heard him, that was like, yeah, like,
it was like, so I was like a weird kid growing up, because like normal kids, when I was like 5, 6, 7, they'd be watching like Nickelodeon or something.
Right.
I was glued into MTV Jams, and I have no idea why. And it was all these rappers, you know, rapping about, you know, how they grew up and stuff. And then it was just randomly that there's this white guy with bleach blonde hair and blue eyes, and was just talking about like the craziest stuff. And I was like, I didn't even understand it at that time. And I was like, what is this? And then like when 50 Cent came out, when in the club video, when they're going through that tunnel and there's the Without Me video playing, I was like, whoa, there's M. And then this big ass dude comes from the top of my TV. I was like, what just happened?
Right.
But what he was talking about, like later on in my life, like the way he grew up, like family problems and all that, I started going through that. And then as I was listening to him and I was going through it, I was like, this guy just took this and took over the planet. I was like, if this one guy could do it, why don't I try this? You know what I mean?
Word. Hey man, look, and that's why, you know, look, we can be inspired by, you know, a whole bunch of things, you know, but when it comes to creating, we are our own original.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just say, you know, hats off to you, you know, because seriously, like, man, I'm sitting there and I'm listening, and I'm listening and I'm listening. And, like I listen to like, man, several songs or what have you. And I'm just like, you hear it, like I hear it. Like, I mean, and sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if you really into music and if you've been around music, you understand what it is, like when you hear something, and it can be as unrefined of a sound right now. In a year, in another 2 years, your sound is going to be totally different. But that hunger and that style will still be there, and that's what I'm talking about. Like,
and it's important. Yeah. It's important while like writing, giving descriptive detail, painting that picture for the listener to be like, I feel like I just went through that or something, you know what I mean? And then when you take those headphones off, you're like back to your normal life, but it's like a movie, you know what I mean? When I leave a movie and I'm watching Denzel do his thing, I want to leave that movie theater thinking I could do some Denzel things.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with music, but it's shorter. But like when you're listening to it, you're like, damn, it's like you were right there with him.
Yeah. Oh no, man. Like, when you have music that takes you on a trip, as you said, like the second it's over, you're like, okay, yeah, I think I want to go live some of this, but I mean, all within well-intention, of course.
Yeah.
We don't want you out here living recklessly. I'm just saying, but music that moves you to do stuff in a passionate, positive way.
Absolutely.
There we go. Man, that's what's up. And that's like the science of sound. So hats off to you, But now you did hint on something I want to talk about. You mentioned Elfstrom Media. And man, I went on the website, checked it out. But for those who don't know, Elfstrom Media LLC is your website.
Elfstrommedia.com. Elfstrom Media LLC is the Instagram.
All right. So, man, can you tell us all about it?
Yeah, I mean, Elfstrom Media has grown bigger than I ever thought. I only picked up a camera years ago to get like B-roll and behind the scenes stuff for my own music videos. And then I was shooting, and then Vinny was the one that was kind of like, whoa, like we could kind of use this. And for a while I was shooting their targeted ads for their merchandise. And then it was kind of like, all right, you did good on this. Let's try this. Let's try that. And then it was the shows, and it was the Fenway show last year that was kind of like, okay, here is Elfstrom Media. And then it was just like boom, boom, boom. And I was like, I had no plans to do this for my whole life and make a career out of it, but I love it. So I'm very thankful for it. But it was kind of just like rolling with the punches, you know what I mean?
Okay, all right. And some of the things we can find on Elfstrom Media.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of photos from people I shot. Naughty, Salt and Pepper, DJ Scribble, KRS-One. There's recap videos from the shows and everything. There's my music videos. I have a few out there. And then it's, I want to take this documentary whenever this comes out and kind of push that to I like shooting like in like cinematic form, you know what I mean? Just those beautiful shots. I'm not too big with the crazy effects and the twists and the turns and all of that. So I kind of want to use that to push to be like, how could we build with this? You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. So is that more your style? Like, hey, man, I'm going to block this scene, and then just take what I have from these scenes and then just make the most of that?
Yeah. And, I'll keep doing, obviously, like the highlight reels and the recap videos of the shows, but I want to do more music videos. Like we have a few music videos lined up. One with Ryan Lane, who was on tour with us. I actually just got done shooting a music video right before this interview. So yeah, there's a lot of things coming. It's gonna be good. Plus the music, so we're gonna be hitting and on all cylinders.
Okay, all right. Hey y'all, there it is. Okay, all right. Elfstrommedia.com. That's the website.
Yeah.
All right. And man, so I'm just going to ask this just for the sake of asking, but if people are looking to get in contact with you, or, they just want to find out more, how can they reach you on social media as well as email, website again, please?
Yeah. So the website's elfstrommedia.com. Instagram, there's at Elfstrom Media and at Eric Elfstrom. Twitter too, and you could shoot me DMs. I'm always going on live with, fans and everything. So yeah, then you could get the emails and everything on the website, but it's team@elfstrommedia.com. And yeah, for on all streaming services too is Eric Elfstrom, Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, whatever.
There it is, y'all. Okay, all right. Hey, he's everywhere, literally. He's everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. All right. But man, we've come to the last question, but this is the question that my show is known for, but I would love to get your response to it. Mr. Eric Elfstrom, what is the one word that best describes you and why?
It's gonna sound corny, but I would say motivated, because I always want to grow. I like taking chances, even though if I'm not too comfortable with it, not scared to fail. I'm just motivated to figure out, hey, if I failed, where did I mess up? Let's fix that immediately. Let's do it again. And I always, I was just on this tour and I'm like, damn, this was awesome. This was crazy. But I'm like, give me another one. Give me 2 more. And then let's make more music videos. While we're on that bus, let's make music. You know what I mean? So definitely motivated. It's very rare that I stop.
Well, no, man. I mean, but that's what's up. And, I think that is a very good word. That's a very good choice of word, motivated, because as you said, like going on this tour, this is your first tour, just the things that, you've seen and done, and just, as you said, going through the experience, going through the trenches with everyone, and just getting that experience just brings that bond, just, so much closer.
Yeah, totally.
Pretty much, man, like you just said, we just finished. I want to do 2, 3 more. I want to do more. I'm motivated to do more. So,
and I'm the new guy. I'm the new guy in the the industry or whatever. There's a lot of people that are better than me. There's a lot of people that are working their ass off right now that want to be in my position, that are working day and night just like I am. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I want to keep it going. Capitalize on this momentum, and then it's just, sky's the limit.
Well, man, it's good that you keep that perspective too, because it's like, hey, look, just like I had to grind to get here, there's somebody else grinding to get here to take my spot as well. And
absolutely,
there's people ahead of me that have been grinding, that's been doing this way longer than me. So, but the fact that you're here, and the fact that, man, you got bonded. I've gotten, your story, man, we've heard your story, I think, that just speaks volumes. And, just to get a perspective, from, a tour, from the behind the scenes, perspective, I think it's just great. So, man, hats off to you. Hats off to the documentary that's soon to come. And man, you want to come back, talk about it, present it to us, man, doors always open to you, brother. All right.
I would love that. I'll send you everything. Man,
there it is. Hey, see, I mean, look out. Don't be mad at me because I got a show, and don't be mad at me. All right. But anyway, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, man, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I've been your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless, no story is worthless. You can follow me at Word with Ty Brownlow all social media platforms, or you could just go to my website, tybrownlow.com, get this wonderful interview, plus other great interviews. Man, brother.
Boom.
We out.
There we go. Thank you. I appreciate it.